if you hear me.
Today on the show, we're kicking off the countdown to our top 10 WWE World Champions of all time, where the lists will be personal, petty, controversial, and downright offensive. This is Holla if you hear me, and welcome to our top 10 WWE World Champions. I'm your humble host, Fraz, and joining me as always, we've got the kayfabe assassin, Mr. Andi Nero, and the ring historian himself, Dirty Dave. Now, hear how this is going to go. We've all picked our personal top 10 champs, ranked from 10 to 1. For every position, points are awarded, so your number 10 gets 1 point, number 9 gets 2 points, all the way up to number 1, who gets 10. At the end, we'll tally it up, and the superstar with the most points will officially be crowned the Holla, if you hear me, greatest of all-time world champ. No arguments after that, unless you're in the comments. So, guys, you know the drill by now. Don't forget to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the shit out of the video. Without further ado, gents, top 10 world champs.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Very difficult to pick 10, actually. And some glaring omissions on my part that I realised I had last night. But I'm locked in now, so fuck it.
Oh, yes. I think for the point of this video, I'd just like to comment here that no one can change their picks.
Are you sure?
Now we're recording. And I'm
And you can't also... And you also can't pick Bret Hart 10 times either, Dave.
No, it's not. It's not individual reigns. It's champions overall.
Well, there you go then.
Oh, is it? So if I've picked one person who's only won the championship once, he can't be in my top 10. I thought this was personal.
No,
it is
you
personal,
can
but you can't have
in-
Randy 13 times.
I can't pick Bret.
Oh, apologies.
Champ.
I thought you meant that if they've won it only once, we can't pick them.
Anyway.
Okay, I'll change my pick of the Iron Sheik.
Well, the greatest transitional champion of all time.
You fuck!
Bullshit!
I break his leg.
Make him humble.
I fuck your son in the ass! I don't know if he says that or
We
not. But
could have just gone with "fuck you, Hulk Hogan," but no, we went a different way.
we could have. Right, so who wants to kick off the 10? Do you want me to start, or...?
You can start with your number 10, big man. That makes sense as the host. Get it in.
Okay, number 10. Drum roll, please. It is the never-seen 17 John Cena. He's on the list because he's won it the most times. When he first came in, I loved his freestyle and dropping bars. The guy was dope, especially as I'm a hip-hop head. But over time, I grew to hate Cena. The Super Cena era bored the fuck out of me. The same 5 moves, the same rise above everything promos. And he always won. But even when I couldn't stand him, I respected him. He's on my list. You know, I mean, there are a few feuds that he had which were great, like with Edge and Punk, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles. And now he's got this heel persona where he's sort of possibly doing his best work of his career. That's what I've been waiting for. It's a shame we've only got 6 months left of it. But I didn't always cheer him. I've never ignored him. But, you know, he makes the top 10.
Fair points. Well made. Dave, why don't you take the middle slot?
I will gladly.
No.
Yep, he's my number 10 pick as well.
Wow.
Matchy. Wow.
So I've made notes. Fraz, you've said a lot of stuff, so well done. So I won't repeat. I put John Cena equals 17 times champ equals I hate this man. I hated him. I hated everything about him. For me, he did ruin wrestling. I just could not stand him at all. But I agree, what he's doing now is fantastic. It's the best. It's the best we've been, and it is a shame we've only got 6 months left. I think you can't take away who he's beaten. So a quick run for him, and he's beat JBL for his first world title at WrestleMania 21. He then beat Edge twice. He then beat Randy Orton twice. He then won an Elimination Chamber. He's beaten Batista. Won a Fatal 4-Way against Edge, Orton and Sheamus. Beat Randy Orton again. Actually won the title off Miz and Morrison after the horrific WrestleMania 27 main event at Extreme Rules. He's beat Alberto Del Rio. He's beat The Rock. He's beat Cody Rhodes. He's beat Chris Jericho. He's beat Randy Orton again, and he's beat Alberto Del Rio again. He's, you can't argue with that list of people. But for me, I couldn't stand the bloke. I didn't like what he stood for. I didn't like his character. I didn't like his style of wrestling. But he is a 17-time world champ, so he has to be in the top 10. He's not Ric Flair, who technically has 21 reigns, but that's a separate video, I think.
Yeah. Well, I've already said why I think Cena should be in the top 10.
No, I was saying Ric Flair's actually technically, if we're going by this video, only held the title once.
2-time WWF champion. He won the Royal Rumble in 1992, and then he beat Randy Savage. I think it was on September the 2nd on Primetime.
You are correct, sir. Of course you are. You are the ring historian, and I know nothing. So there you go.
And then lost it to Bret Hart, which is why I
Indeed.
remember it even more.
Explains a lot more as well. My number 10 is not John Cena. My number 10 is one Brock Lesnar.
Interesting.
2002, the summer of 2002, Brock Lesnar becomes the youngest at the time world champion in WWE history, where he beats The Rock at SummerSlam. The Rock at this point was full-on Scorpion King and not particularly well liked, and Brock was getting cheered despite being the all-conquering top heel in the company. Then he won one of the 3 best manias of all time over heel Kurt, which may well, possibly foreshadowing maybe why he might not appear in someone else's list, and nearly killed himself doing so, doing that shooting star press that he completely fucked up. But hey ho. But for me, and this is a controversial take, the 2014 run, the rarely seen Brock Lesnar, dominated Cena in a way unseen up until that point. Beat the back off this kid, absolutely slammed him about, suplex city bitch, and then only turned up 4, maybe 5 times between then and WrestleMania. I think he turned up at Royal Rumble to have a 3-way with Seth and Cena, I think, which was a pretty decent match.
Yes.
And then, yeah, WrestleMania, and that was, I don't remember him fighting at Survivor Series. If he did, I can't remember who it was against. But either way, the rarity with which we saw the World Championship belt made the belt feel ultra special at the time and was better than so many other short reigns. Jey Uso, no yeet. But the point I'm trying to make is that it also gave the opportunity for things like the IC belt, the World Heavyweight Championship, etc., etc. So that's why he's my number 10.
Interesting. Very
interesting. I hate
Dave?
Brock Lesnar.
How dare he beat Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 19?
No, that's a highlight. That is the highlight of Brock Lesnar's career, having a match against Kurt Angle and
No, Zach
Several
Gowen.
that year as well.
No.
It's all
Huh?
about Zach. It's all
Several
about Zach
matches
Gowen.
with Kurt Angle that year as well.
Indeed,
Fine, man.
indeed. Was it No Mercy? Kurt beat him a few months
No.
after. I can't remember.
Vengeance.
Vengeance. That's it.
And then Kurt lost the belt in an Iron Man match on SmackDown about 2 months later or a month later.
Which
Yeah.
is possibly
Brock
one of the
had-
best Iron Man matches of all time.
Agreed. Should we move on to number 9, Dave?
Oh,
We don't want to talk about Brock Lesnar, or
Or do you want to talk about Brock Lesnar? You're more than welcome to talk about Brock Lesnar.
Oh,
thought
no,
I'd talk
I
about
didn't
Brock
know
Lesnar
if-
enough.
I didn't know if Dave had any comments on Brock Lesnar and whether.
for me, I wouldn't want.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to potentially spoil
Clearly,
anything. I may
clearly,
have lots
Dave
to say.
doesn't. Yeah, clearly, Dave doesn't like Brock Lesnar as a WWE champion.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe
Yeah,
he's in
number
my top
9.
10 somewhere. Exactly. All right. So number 9 for me is Brock. No, it's not Brock. It's... Ooh, spoiler, it's not Brock. It's actually The Rock. So for me, 8-time champ. But for me, I love The Rock. I'm not taking anything away from The Rock. I think his character is fantastic. I've always liked him. Always thought he was really, really good. I don't think he brought much to the title. And I don't think any of his title reigns really stood out as him running with the ball. Even when Austin was injured and out for a year, Triple H had the title for sort of 8 months of that, and The Rock only had it for like 3. So I'm not taken away from The Rock, but as a champ, it was better when he chased the belt than when he had the belt. And he's such an outstanding personality, he almost didn't need the belt. But, fantastic guy, giving us some fantastic matches. He was the youngest champion of all time when he won, to begin with, when he won the title at Survivor Series in the Elimination Tournament. He beat the Boss Man, Ray Traylor, Ken Shamrock, The Undertaker, and Mankind. So big ups to Boss Man. He actually beat Boss Man in 4 seconds, which was incredible. That incredible series of matches with Mankind at the Raw Rumble, the I Quit match, the ladder match on Raw. When he won the title at Backlash against Triple H, with Austin returned. And then he beat Vince McMahon for it in a 6-man tag match at the King of the Ring 2000, which was a bit like, really? I don't get that. And that was his longest run in 2000. Obviously, pinning Kurt Angle at Vengeance in 2001. He had a couple of WCW title reigns in the WWE. If you want to count them, that means he's a 10-time champion. He beat Booker T at SummerSlam and Chris Jericho on Raw. And then his most recent victory was against CM Punk in 2013. So from 1998 to 2013, he's held belts, which is impressive. But for me, he's always been a transitional champion, and the chase was always better than the reign. But big ups to The Rock. I do love him. That's why he's in my top 10.
Yeah, he's quality. I love The Rock. He's the man. He might be in my top 10. You never know. You'll have to tune in and watch the rest of this video to find out, won't you?
Do we want to talk about The Rock?
Well, I mean, yeah, we can do. Andy picked him as his favourite theme music. Spoiler alert.
I'm willing to talk about The Rock. Spoiler alert. I'm willing to talk at length about The Rock. I agree with everything you just said there, Dave. He was he was always a transitional champion, and his chasing of the belt was always better than the reigns themselves. The only time that I think he had a really half-decent reign was when he won from Vince and Hunter, and then defended it against a few people up until Kurt at No Mercy. And obviously in that time he fought Benoit, Hunter, and a few others, but that was a half-decent, longer reign for The Rock. The rest of the time, they were maybe a month here, a month there. Nothing really notable, but lots of them. So I still can't abide the fact that he beat CM Punk with a fucking people's elbow. That's after 300 some odd days. That's unacceptable. No rock bottom, just a people's elbow. Go fuck yourself, you terrible sharpshooter hitting shitbag.
I actually need to correct a mistake. I said he beat Kurt Angle at Vengeance, and technically he did in a triple threat match with The Undertaker in 2002, but actually I was referring to his No Way Out victory, obviously before WrestleMania 17, so another example of where he only held the title for a month, because he won it in February at No Way Out and then lost it to Austin at WrestleMania 17. So he's been involved in some incredible championship matches, but they've always been really when he drops the belt, and like I say, it's the reign of the belt that does it for me. That's why he's quite low down on my top 10.
Well, there you go. In the interest of keeping things fresh, Fraz, I will go now if you're happy with that.
Go for
my number 9. My number 9 is one Dave Batista. You might think, WWE champion, he was only a short reign. Yes, he was. 2 short reigns, in fact. 35 days total as WWE champion in his entire career. The first one, he tore his bicep after 2 days and was stripped of it. And then the second was the build to WrestleMania 26, which was actually half decent because he had the silly spotlight thing, which was cool. Much better runs as the World Heavyweight Champion, and made the big gold belt after the reign of terror of Triple H a really cool belt to have, and great matches with Taker, King Booker, and specifically Eddie Guerrero, who that run of matches, I think they had 2 or 3 matches in the summer that year leading up towards Eddie's passing. They had a really, really good run where they were both sort of faces. So yeah, Dave Batista, number 9.
Wow. Batista. That's a surprising one, but this is a personal top 10 list, isn't it?
I love Batista. I think just for the purpose of this video and just to clarify my position, that as we progress through this, I'm countering all their world titles when they're in WWE, so including the world heavyweight title. So if I say they're a 10-time champion, it includes the WWE and the world title, or the Universal Champion, depending on the timeline. I mean, I thought him beating Triple H at WrestleMania 21 was awesome for his world titles, and I thought he had some great matches. But I won't say any more because we don't want to spoil.
My number 9 is a man that I thought was fucking unbelievable when I was at school. His name is Shawn Michaels, the Hairline Kid. He's in my top 10, yeah, because he was the man. When he was champ in the mid-90s, he was cocky, he was confident, he had swagger. That made him stand out. And as a teenager, you know, you're influential in those years. Fucking hell, the stubble, the hair, the entrance, his ring attire. And then that's not even talking about his in-ring ability. I mean, you talk about Mount Rushmore. He has got to be in anyone's Mount Rushmore for in-ring ability. His storytelling was unmatched. Yeah, he made every match feel brilliant. And his feuds with Bret Hart, Dave has yapped on about this for so many shows now. When Bret was heel and Shawn was heel and they were going at each other, it was just fucking brilliant. Sometimes the title makes the man, but Shawn Michaels made the title. He had it all. I respected his comeback in 2002, but honestly, the brown tights has got him in at number 9. You can't take away generational talent. He was great with his 3 titles prior to him getting injured. Honourable mention, the Iron Man match with Bret Hart where he won the title. For me, that was peak Shawn Michaels, and he is my number 9.
Can't argue with Shawn Michaels.
No, I knew you'd be happy that he's in my top 10, possibly higher up for you, but
You are impressing me so far with your picks.
I was surprised you included him, given how much I know you hate his latter run following Brown Tights, and the fact that you called him the Hairline Kid as well. But no, you're absolutely right. His early run, his first go round was S tier, very much worthy of being in this top 10, and very much worthy of being in your top 10, big man. So well done.
So number 8.
Number 8,
Andy,
I can kick this one off.
You kick
definitely.
things off, yeah.
If I do that, should tell you everything you need to know. It is Daniel Bryan, a.k.a. Bryan Danielson, a.k.a. the American Dragon, arguably up there with Shawn Michaels as the greatest in-ring wrestler ever. Certainly over the last 15 years, I think there's nobody who can hold a candle to Danielson in ring. In terms of world titles, he held the World Heavyweight Championship in the early stages of his WWE tenure after winning Money in the Bank. He beat John Cena for the Undisputed titles, the unified titles, before kicking off unintentionally, basically kicking off the authority angle by having Hunter come and kick him in the dick, and then Randy pinned him. But without a great face or a great heel, you can't have the other. So no authority, no yes movement, no WrestleMania 30. That's the way I look at it. It was such a shame that injuries hampered his run so badly. So obviously that particular run didn't last as long as it should have because he got hurt a lot. When he finally came back, he had his world's champion run, and controversial opinion, I fucking loved that run. I loved his heel work. I thought it was brilliant. His thing where he'd come out and say, "You people, you're all fickle," and just repeat fickle over and over again. The hemp belt as well, the sort of the Muslim bag hemp belt, I thought was actually pretty cool, and a decent ring of all the custom belts we've had over the years. nothing has suited a character better than that particular belt. The world champion, the eco champion, the man who wanted everyone to turn their own piss and shit into compost. Of course, he's going to have an eco-friendly belt, and I liked that. And yeah, that's why he's my number 8. And I know I'm on my own in this one, I expect. But yeah, there
Well,
you go.
I mean, the eco champion, whilst flying all around the world defending the title on an aeroplane, polluting the atmosphere. But each to their own.
It's an argument that's been made about every sportsman going right now, isn't it? Everyone that's a virtue signaling a-hole, Lewis Hamilton, that travels the world and makes a shit ton of money talking about how green they all should be whilst driving a 200-mile-an-hour car and flying in his private jet that he doesn't pay any tax on.
My silence will say it all. This guy doesn't even deserve to be in the top 20, let alone top 10. But this is your personal pick, Andy. Kudos to you for doing the research on him.
Yep.
Well, there you go. And that's all anyone is going to say about that. You stand alone, Godwin.
Excellent, excellent.
Moving on.
If we get a drop in viewership at that point in the video, that might be why. No, fair play, Andy. I'm gonna jump in and just do my number 8. We've already had him, The Rock.
Oh.
He is one of the few guys that, whether he's face or heel, I loved. My picks are very personal, and it's genuinely because something resonated with me back in the day. I usually lean towards heels, but The Rock was just fucking excellent, especially early Rock, not Rocky Maivia, Dave, before you say anything. He was God on the mic. The crowd hung on every word he said. He's just straight fire. He's one of my favourites. I know this is titles, but one of my favourite promos is him serenading Vicky Guerrero with the Eric Clapton parody of "Biatch, you look horrible tonight." I mean, I will admit he hasn't had a great deal of fucking classic matches, and because of my love affair with a certain Mary Jane, I can't really remember too many when I was picking this. But his match with Stone Cold at WrestleMania 17, peak Attitude Era, and being a champ doesn't necessarily mean that you stack up all the wins. Also putting people over. So props when he needed to pass the torch, he did. Can't say that nowadays, but yeah, whether he was roasting jabronis or fucking putting boots to asses, The Rock definitely made my list. And just on promos alone, how cool he was. He's number 8 on my list.
It's a good shot. It's a good shout. I applaud that.
I can obviously only agree.
Somewhat. Because otherwise you're going to put him at 8 and not 9.
In terms of factual data that he's spilling, but yeah, his personal preference on pick number I can't match. But yes, very, very well delivered, Farid. Thank you very much.
No problem.
And he had a custom belt but never used it.
Yes. Go on then, historian. Let's hear your number 8.
Okay, my number 8, and again, I think I need to probably explain that. Again, I've picked multiple title reigns, as long as they are title reigns, but like Fraz, there's got to be some sort of connection with the person or the reign, some emotion, something I remember. So it is really passionate. So my pick for number 8 is The Undertaker. Some people might think that's low down on the list. Some people might think it's a bit weird that he's even on the list. Because he's had some very interesting championship reigns. I think it's safe to say that he never needed the belt, ever. He just never needed it. But we had 3 decades of destruction. He definitely didn't need the title, but when he did have the title, he made it mean something. Or winning it or losing it meant something. So he beat Hulk Hogan in his 1-year anniversary at the Survivor Series 1991. He then beat Sid and made him shit himself at WrestleMania 13. He then beat Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Absolutely should be higher.
Yes, it should be number
on
1.
that basis alone. Yeah, number 1. Yeah.
He beat Stone Cold at Over the Edge 99. So already he's beat Hulk Hogan, Sid, and Austin. He then beats Hollywood Hulk Hogan at Judgment Day 2002. And then we have world title reigns defeating Batista, Edge, and CM Punk. So a real contrast of people there. But also who he dropped the titles to. You know, dropping the titles to Austin, dropping the titles to Bret Hart. They meant something. So, no, he's a 7-time champ, and you could argue that's not enough potentially to be on the list, but we've already had people that have only got one reign on there. But for me, especially in 1997, his reign and the matches he had with Bret Hart and Vader and Mankind and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and going into 1998, the Highway to Hell, that whole storyline around the belt. He wasn't the champ then, but he was challenging for it. So, yep, Undertaker. He's the man. He's got to be on the list. And he's my number 8.
I respect Taker. I respect that pick. I can see why you put him on there.
I respect the contribution he made to the industry. Very much so. Best big man, as we established in another video. Put a card in there and we'll have a link to the video in question.
Indeed. Go back and watch.
See, I know all about the YouTubes now. Right.
Is
Is that
robbed,
everyone?
God damn it. That was robbed.
Is that everyone from number 8? That is indeed. Who would like to take number 7?
Yeah, I'll take 7.
Go for it, Donald.
Time to play the game. Time to fucking ass. Yeah. Again, this is more to do with how fucking cool this bloke was. He was at one point the most dominant, calculated, cool as fuck champions. That's why he lands at number 7. As a heel, no one stood up to him really. Suited up, shredded when he came back from that quad injury. Smug as hell. Anything, obviously, pre-DX maybe wasn't so awesome. But, yeah, he looked awesome all the time. When he came back from that quad thing, he looked bigger and jacked more than ever. He was the real final boss for me. 14-time world champ, you can't take that away from him. He built Evolution. He brought up other wrestlers with him. Yeah, people talk about the Reign of Terror, but for me, that's what made him great. He stacked the odds against you. He used his power. He made you sort of fucking love to hate him. And that's exactly what a proper heel champion should do. I mean, his feuds with all of my favourites, Kurt, Rock, Austin, Seth, Randy, was all top tier storytelling. And his theme music as well. I don't think he's had one fucking shit entrance theme since he's been going. Even Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Whether you loved him or you hated him, Triple H made the title feel important. I've got here honourable mention, and I watched some highlights from it. Cactus Jack, Royal Rumble 2000. Yeah, Helmsley's the man. Triple H, he is our master and commander at the moment, and that's why he is on my list at number 7.
Respectable pick, mate. Respectable pick.
And I will just say that had I never met David in my life, I possibly wouldn't like Triple H as much. So, Dave, kudos for feeding me Triple H for most of my childhood.
Okay, I'll take that. That's a compliment.
Yeah, it is. You should take it as that as well.
I am, yeah.
Number 7 for... Go on, Dave, you go.
I think me and you, I mean, we're going to flip-flop, I think, in this.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see. I'm making notes. If you guys can hear my paper rustling, I do apologise, but I feel like I'm doing some sort of news report. I'm writing down all the names Andy's picking, and I'm ticking off all the things that you're saying, because my number 7 pick is someone that you've already mentioned, and it's the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Mm-hmm. So he's in there at number 7 for all the same reasons. For me, he saved the WWF in 1996 when everybody left, everybody deserted. He won the Iron Man match. His boyhood dream came true. People slate that match because they claim it's boring and too many rest holds. But And that, that's fine. That's someone's opinion, but it builds and builds and builds. And actually, if you want to watch a really, really good match and you can't be bothered to invest in an hour, watch the last 20 minutes. It's absolutely outstanding. These guys have been wrestling for an hour and they just nail everything to a T, to the point where when Bret gets him in a sharpshooter, they're 5 seconds out on their timing. And you just think, that's just incredible. It's absolutely, unrehearsed. Back in the days when you didn't rehearse, you just chatted about it. Absolutely incredible. Amazing matches with new talent in 1996, because Diesel, Razor, everybody left. And all of a sudden, Shawn Michaels is wrestling The Undertaker, sort of non-title matches. But in title matches, Mankind, Vader, people that the WWF hadn't seen. They'd only been there for 3 months. It's like, I think people forget that. It's like, oh my God, he had amazing matches with Mankind. Yeah, but you got to remember, he didn't know who Mankind was at the time. And he's still getting pay-per-view buy rates and he was still getting ratings. It was a tough year. And I just think if he wasn't champion in 1996, God knows where it would be, because everybody left. Obviously, so that's obviously beating Bret Hart. He then draws 60,000 people to the Alamo Dome for the Royal Rumble in 1997 to fight Sid and defeat Sid for his second title reign. So he's 2 title reigns. He's won one at WrestleMania and then he wins one in his hometown. The biggest crowd ever at Royal Rumble to that point, at a time when doing shows in stadiums just didn't happen. It hadn't happened since 1992. So you can't say he didn't draw, for people who says he doesn't draw. Obviously, we've got the screw job. Everybody knows how much I love the 1997 run and that whole run-in with him and Bret Hart. And brown trousers aside, I remember watching the Survivor Series in 2002 live, the first ever Elimination Chamber match, not knowing what to see, what to expect. Pretty confident he'd come in last, and he did, obviously, because of his back. But when he backdropped Triple H and came out of the corner with the super kick and won the title in Madison Square Garden, I just flew out of my seat at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Not the best reign that time around, I get that. But yeah, for a Shawn Michaels reign, it's not great. But things had changed since he left. The hot potatoing around the Attitude Era and stuff like that. And I didn't mind him getting the title as a token to say thanks for coming back and well done for coming back. And I actually applaud the fact that he didn't win the title again, because it was all about stealing the show and making talent after that. So I actually applaud the fact that he didn't go for it any further than that. But yeah, 96, 97 and going into 98, dropping the title to Austin at the highest buy rate WrestleMania to date at WrestleMania 14, worlds away from WrestleMania 13, as I've mentioned on our WrestleMania show. What more can you say about him? Just the best in-ring performer of all time.
I don't know. I think you've pretty much said it, Dave.
You've put me to shame there, Dave. I undersold Shawn Michaels. There were 2 things that I took from that. The Iron Man match, for people that haven't seen it, it was its first of its kind at the time.
Yeah,
was
for the modern era.
Ridiculous cool. And if I'm being honest, he would have been higher up my list if we were talking about match quality post 2002, because you forget, the guy was fucking ridiculously good. Those matches against Taker will go down in the echelons of wrestling, won't they? But as you say, kudos to him for just putting people over and not demanding the title. And it's a perfect example of how a wrestler doesn't need a title to be over. So yeah, totally agree with you, obviously, because I've already got him at number 9.
Well, I will contribute at this point my number 7 by doing the following. Sean, I think I'm cute. I got gold medals. I got the moves that make them all tap out. It's Kurt Angle for me at number 7. What can you say about Kurt frickin' Angle? Not only did he win the Olympic gold medal with a broken frickin' neck, he won the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship a combined 4 times. Won at a No Mercy 2000 in the Triple Threat, won at Unforgiven 2001 in Feel Good Moment of the Year, obviously just after September the 11th. Won it again at Armageddon 2002 when he hoisted up Big Show for a big old Angle Slam. And then won at Vengeance 03 over Brock. Won on SmackDown in 2006 in a Battle Royale, which was for the World Heavyweight title against Batista, of all people, who's already been on my list. And then he took it to Mania to face Ray. He was always the best wrestler in the room and was always one of the top 5 sports entertainers in the company during his time there, in TNA, everywhere. He is the man. End of conversation. Goodbye.
So he's just a sexy Kurt.
He's a
Sexy
sexy
Kurt.
Kurt. He'd make your ankle hurt. Ankle hurt.
Yeah. There's a comment about Marty Jannetty still not being able to walk in that as well. I can't remember how it all goes. I'm going to find that later. Kurt Angle, absolute legend. Better not say any more, had I?
I better not say anymore. But yeah, true with everything you said. It's damn true, Andy.
Beautiful.
It's damn true.
Number 6. Who wants to take their final entrance in this video?
Go on, let me go.
Go on then.
Why not? Okay. As I'm the ring historian, I did say to everybody offline, I haven't gone pre-WrestleMania 1, so don't panic. I'm not going to bust out people that nobody knows. And if nobody knows this man, then you have some sort of severe problem. He's a 2-time WWF champion, so not a lot. But he was the first man to run with the ball after Hulk Hogan's 4-year title reign. No, it's not Andre the Giant. It's not Ted DiBiase. I'm not talking about those little hanky-panky, weird, did they have the title, did they not? I am talking about Macho Man Randy Savage, who, for me, had up to that point was the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time. He then wins a tournament. He defeats 4 men in one night, the Natural, Butch Reed, the One Man Gang, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and, of course, the $1 Million Man. He then reigns for a whole year with the storyline of the Mega Powers. However, Hulk Hogan was away doing a film, which is why he wasn't the champion at this point. And this was the only time that the WWF didn't lose any money when Hogan wasn't the champ. You're coming off the 5 biggest years in wrestling's history, and you're taking the belt off your golden goose. And this guy carried it, ran with it, and made it even better for me. He was such a good champion, fighting Andre the Giant, the $1 Million Man, Bad News Brown, and then giving Hogan his greatest ever match. I know everybody loves WrestleMania 18, but if you watch WrestleMania 5, it's Hogan's best match by a country mile. And then what do? When it all hits the fan and Hogan's going to leave again, and not only Hogan's going to leave, your company's in dire straits, you're being sued, everybody's leaving, steroid scandals, main eventers leave left, right, and centre. You put the title back on Randy Savage at WrestleMania 8, and it's like, boom, here we go again. He's going to save the company. And again, similar to Shawn Michaels, I don't know where we'd be if Savage wasn't the champion in 1992. He draws 66,000 people to WrestleMania 8. He's part of that amazing SummerSlam where there's 80,000 people at Wembley Stadium, and he's fighting the Ultimate Warrior. I know everybody talks about Bret versus Bulldog, absolutely 100%, but you cannot tell me the WrestleMania 7 rematch at SummerSlam with Savage and Warrior at SummerSlam didn't help draw on that card. And actually, it's a really good match. He's given Ultimate Warrior his 2 best matches. He gave Hulk Hogan his best matches. He's Mr. WrestleMania before Shawn Michaels. Like, he is the reason I love wrestling to the amount that I do. Without Savage, there'd be no Michaels. Without Michaels, there'd be no Seth. It's all about Randy Savage. He didn't have it a lot, but what he did with it saved the company. So it's Randy Savage at number 6 for me.
Yeah, I agree. He is a fucking legend. But not as old, not an old head like you.
Sorry, I got a bit passionate there.
No, you can get as passionate as you want. This is your top 10 of the best champions ever.
I am actually sweating.
Yeah, me too. It might be something to do with the fact that it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I've had a beer already, but
which we're obviously not advocating.
No, unless you're Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, Randy Savage, what a legend. My favourite Randy Savage moment was the Jake the Snake match.
The Snake.
WrestleMania 7, was that?
No, the snake bite.
SummerSlam 91, wasn't it?
He was supposed to wrestle Jake at WrestleMania 8. Hogan was supposed to fight Flair, but they pivoted because Hogan threw his toys out the pram, and obviously the steroid scandal hit. So they didn't want him winning the title off Flair, and he didn't want to lose to Flair. So they had Savage end his feud with Jake at the Saturday night's main event in March '92. But he actually fought Jake at Tuesday night in Texas. They had a good little run after Survivor Series 91, between Survivor Series 91 and WrestleMania 8. So they had a few matches, but the Tuesday in Texas, he comes out and attacks Jake in the R-Way and beats Jake pretty quick, 1, 2, 3. But then there's a lot of aftermatch stuff. I think 3 or 4 DDTs, and he's left lying. But yeah, it's a good feud. Sorry, I've started talking again.
No, you're fine.
I really don't have much of a point of reference for Randy Savage other than the fact that he'd retained his title, because I think in terms of his world championships, I've only actually seen him win the world title and defend it against Warrior. So I can't really have much of a point of reference, but he is a legend. He is the man. A man that spawned 6 billion impressions. No, the man who spawned 6 billion impressions, because I think everyone thinks they can do a decent Randy Savage impression. Including yours truly, but there you go.
And the whole world knows about Slim Jim, whereas they wouldn't have. So, snap into it.
Everyone knows about it now because it's on every fucking table. But there we are.
Number 6,
Who's next?
Andrew?
Who's next?
Me? You want me to go next? Okie dokie. Stone Cold Steve Austin is my number 6 pick. And you might think, that's a bit low. That's a bit low for someone who revolutionized the industry and brought the WWE back from the brink of defeat to WCW. What are you doing and putting him that low? Well, Austin's title reigns came during a period where Russo was writing for TV. So there was a hell of a lot of hot potato title changes, and I'm not particularly big fan of that. But the main event scene was stacked as fuck. The one for me that sticks out is the 2001 run. You might think, why is that? Because that was probably the worst one. Well, from return to Rumble win to Mania win, and then to turn at Mania, and then singing Kumbaya with Vince, following, of course, the invasion angle, which I have a hot take here. At the time, I was 2001. How old was I? 14. I fucking loved the invasion angle. I'd been a WCW kid since it started being shown on Channel 5, and really enjoyed WCW. And when they came across to WWE, I loved it. I knew all the guys that were coming in, and I actually really enjoyed the invasion angle for what it was. I think with hindsight, obviously, you can go back and say it wasn't that great, but it was a decent time for the industry, if you ask me, a 14-year-old. Why is he number 6? Well, when you consider the fact that the entirety of his combined title reigns, in fact, the entire time he was top of the industry, combined, was shorter than Roman Reigns' entire WWE title run. That's why he's number 6 for me. Austin was the nucleus of everything that transpired in that era, but his run, not that long. Really not that long. Burn bright, not long, I think is the term.
Fair play. That is as my intro alluded to. This will be personal. It will be petty. It will be downright offensive to some people, and controversial. So with that,
I have just underlined that actually because I'm writing your ones down, Andy, and I've just wrote Stone Cold WTF exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark question mark, and I've underlined it so much my pen's gone through the paper. So thanks for that.
I thought there were 5 better winners. I thought there were 5 better champions.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for your top 5. Cannot wait.
You wait until you get to mine. Fucking hell. My number 6. Jesus Christ. I'll be real.
I don't think he was champ.
If you told past me that I would have this person on my top 10 WWE Champions list, I would have asked what the fuck I was smoking at the time. He is the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. He is one of the reasons, along with Super Cena and part-time Brock Lesnar, that I stopped watching wrestling. I was out. But then the Bloodline happened, And holy shit, this man went from being a bland loser to being one of the dopest motherfuckers to ever set foot in a wrestling ring. His promos, his storytelling, his presence, he single-handedly has elevated the WWE to a whole new level. Yes, we've got the 1,300-day run and the fact he's won the title 4 times, but the tribal chief gimmick wasn't just great, it was generational. His matches weren't always 5-star. However, when they hit, they really hit. More to the end of his reign, you know, the matches with Sami Zayn in Montreal was fucking white hot. His 2 matches at WrestleMania with Cody, and obviously I'm just speaking on, you know, what resonates for me, but in terms of his modern day reign as the champion, you cannot ignore the fact that this guy carried the fucking company and was cool with it. Like, it wasn't just being shoved down your throat. He literally redefined what it means to be the guy. And honestly, I want to name my future son Roman. That's how much he changed my opinion. He'd be higher up on the list if there weren't 5 others that I thought were more legendary than him. Ladies and gentlemen, my number 6, the Tribal Chief, Roman bloody Reigns.
Yeah, well, took the words out of my mouth. Absolutely outstanding. Yeah, totally see where you're coming from. Can't argue that at all.
Yeah, I think it's all about, these picks for me are all about how they make me feel. I see when I see them. He's just fucking the personification of cool.
Nope, with you on that.
Agreed completely.
Agreed.
Well,
so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is our 10-6 WWE World Champions. We hope you enjoyed it.
Before we go, sorry to interrupt you, Fraz. Would you like an updated ranking as where they stand right now?
No. I would like to just thank the viewers for watching and join us for a part 2 where we'll be doing our 5-1. And don't miss it, because essentially it will be fantastic. And I know Andy wants to tell you the scores, but it makes it much more suspenseful when we arrive for the next video.